Joining me now is Stefan Romaniw, co-chair of the Australian Federation of Ukrainian Organisations. Where are we in this conflict, Stefan? Is Australia doing enough?
Look, I think we've got to balance this thing. Up until now, we've had support from the Australian government. I think the positive part about it is we've bipartisan support. But at the moment, we're calling for more support. And I think President Zelensky understands that the international community has to do more. So our call out to the Australian government is, thank you for what you've done, but there's a lot more that has to be done now. And I just want to make the point that this war's been around for 10 years, actually, but the full Russian invasion of 2 years. 2 years ago, we all spoke about values, we all spoke about why Ukraine has to win, why Russia has to lose. We keep saying the same thing. The question is, are we going to provide the support that we need? So our call out to the Australian government is, we need to act now. You know, I like to use the Nike slogan, just do it.
Well, as part of the fall in support related to fatigue, Ukraine fatigue, because like you said, it's been a couple of years since the invasion and other conflicts have begun and people's attention has been pulled elsewhere. Do you think that's adding to the government inaction in this area?
Well, I think that the issue is there's always international tension. This war is raging. It's gone off the front pages. We're saying it needs to stay on the front page because I go back to what we said, why it's very important for Ukraine to win. If you want a better world, if you want Russian dominance, if you want Putin to be running this world, don't support Ukraine.
What is a likely end to this? Is it going to be a negotiated agreement? Is it going to be Russia conceding defeat? You just look at someone like a Vladimir Putin and you can't see him taking that loss. He doesn't want to lose face. How do you see this conflict ending?
You've got to look at the Ukrainian people. The Ukrainian people are fighting for sovereignty, territorial integrity, which they're allowed to have. They've been given that. The way the Ukrainians are fighting today, and people sometimes say that Russia is winning. Russia's not winning. If you look at what really is happening, Ukraine is winning. But how it's all going to end, President Zelensky is very, very clear. There will be no giving up of Ukrainian land. We will not turn around and say, well, we'll not concede. Therefore, Russia can be defeated. It can be defeated. But the US, Europe, the Five Eyes, they have to stand up. And what does it mean? It doesn't mean just do it in terms of, yes, we support. You have to act. And that's why we're calling out an Australian government. I mean, we have decommissioned things that we could have Abraham tanks. We have things we could be sending. We had the Taipans. We could have sent them.
So we've decommissioned them. We've got no use for them.
We've got no use for them.
We could send them to Ukraine, but we're opting not to do that.
Well, the Department of Defence has to make a call, and we're saying, you know, there are things that you can give Ukraine now. Ukraine, I mean, I can't speak on behalf of the Ukrainian government, but I do know, I've spoken to the ambassador, I spoke to people in Ukraine. You know, you take the Taipans. Ukraine was prepared to send an Antonov. It was prepared to have the international maintenance people look at the Taipans. It was prepared to give Australia all care, no responsibility. So I'm not sure why we can't be giving these things. And
we don't even have an embassy reopened there.
Well, look,
most countries do.
Yeah, and that, to us, that's ridiculous. I know the argument, and I think I spoke to you the other day about this. There's some legislation that the Secretary of Foreign Affairs, you know, there are the only people outside of Kyiv now in Poland are those who are pro-Russian. So all the allies, you know, for example, the UK, the British, they didn't even leave. So
they never closed their embassy.
They never closed their embassy.
And all the other allies are open except Australia.
And if you look at where we co-share, the Canadians are back. So we just don't understand it. And we know that it'll be far more effective to have an Australian diplomat on the ground talking face-to-face instead of Zooming. So our call out, the Australian government is, you know, let's be realistic about this. There is absolutely no reason for, logical reason, there might be some legal, but no logical reason for the embassy not to be back in Kyiv.
And we've got embassies in all sorts of dangerous parts of the world, so it seems odd that we've opted to go down this road. Now, last month, the Ukrainian ambassador blasted the ABC's Ukraine war documentary. He called it the journalistic equivalent of a ball of vomit. The Four Corners episode, Ukraine's War, the Other Side, promised to offer a human perspective on life on the Russian front line, but was slammed as spreading blatant lies and Kremlin propaganda. The ABC's editorial director, Gavin Fang, met with Ukraine's representatives. Give us the latest on that. Has there been an apology? Will they withdraw the program? What has been the outcome of those discussions?
The Australian Federation of Ukrainian Organisations, we met with the ABC. We expressed our opinion. When you say, oh, we've done 6 programs about Ukraine and now we're doing this one and, you know, it's the sort of the human face of Russia, they won't say that, but that's the way it's perceived. The fact is, those soldiers who are saying, crying, I want to go, Russian soldiers, I want to go home to my mother, I want to go back to my family, are the same ones who are raping, pilfering. Therefore, there's no sympathy for that. We've said to them that ultimately what you've done is you've given what I call, you know, when you put something black and white. Black is the fact is that Russia is bad. White, the fact is Ukraine's fighting. Now you put it in together and you've got grey. So people are saying, oh, maybe the Russians aren't so bad. We've spoken to them. We have also given them what we call some remedies. We're talking to them now. For example, we have a showing here of 20 Days in Mariupol, the one that won the Oscar Awards. A horrific situation about, you know, when you see a baby dying, when you see a father crying, they're the sort of things we're saying to the ABC. So if you want to say to us that we've had 6 programs and now we've got this one, you're presuming that everybody's watching those 6 and 7. So they need to change their ways. We've given them a remedy. We've given them a way out. We're not about, you know, we want a win-win situation.